So hello YouTube. I wanted to come on today and upload a video for you guys, and this video is going to be about an incident. It's a situation that I witnessed this week. I was at one of the local Starbucks in my area. You guys know that I love Starbucks, and I saw this image and this situation that was going on between a mother and her daughter, and it really like hit my heart, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to talk about this with my audience. And like, this is something that we as women are kind of like, in the modern world, we're really dealing with this a lot, and we're showing up in ways that I think we're really sending a message to our daughters, the way that we're showing up in the world today. And of course, like, I'm the type of person where it's like, okay, sis, whatever your soul needs to do for a moment, that may be what it needs to do. But I want you to also remember that, guys, we are always like giving off an energy. We're always representing something. And so this situation at Starbucks, I'm going to tell you about it, really hit my heart. And I was just like, we got to talk about this. So I was at Starbucks. And there was this young mom. She probably looked to be maybe in her early 30s. And she had with her, I'm outside, so you guys may be able to hear a flight, but she had with her like, the girl was like, her daughter was like 3.5 to 5 years old. And her daughter was so beautiful, so adorable, full of life. She had her hair, just kind of out, flowing in the wind. Her little curls were just flowing, and she had on a cute little outfit, super colorful. And mom was, visibly tired, lethargic, looked like she was just, she didn't have a lot of energy. She was wearing an outfit that was showing a ton of skin. On her way into Starbucks, she, just looked like she kind of had thrown her hair some sort of way, just kind of threw it back. And the little girl was like skipping and doing all of this other stuff, and the mom was just very lethargic, and her energy just wasn't magnetic, right? It just wasn't something that I would say was energetically attractive. Her daughter was definitely just the one that you kind of noticed and saw, and you were just kind of like, oh, that's so sweet. The thing that happened next is what really like threw me for a loop, is that the little girl grabbed the door to Starbucks for her mom and held it open. And when the little girl, who's like gleefully and joyfully going to Starbucks, she's just like, oh my gosh, she pulls and she holds the door open for her mom. And her mom kind of just looks at her like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like, calm down. Her mom just kind of like goes through the door, a fully grown woman. And imagine this is like a 3.5 to a 5-year-old at most. Her mom goes through the door and just kind of looks at her daughter to the side, like with a side eye, and doesn't say thank you or anything else. And the little girl was just so happy to get the door for her mom, right? And y'all, my heart broke, because I was just like, again, this isn't about condemnation for us as women. This is just about us being more mindful of maybe some inner work that has not been done, that your daughter desires love and affection, like good energy from you. She's not desiring to receive a side eye from her mom when she's doing something that is clearly genuine and out of her like innocent heart. And when I saw the interaction, I kind of was appalled a little bit, because I'm just like, are we as women, is that really where we are, that we're not conscious enough, or we're not aware enough of what's going on internally within ourselves to know what type of vibe we're giving off? And of course, this mom was tired. I get it. Motherhood is hard. Maybe she didn't have as much support or whatever else. But at the end of the day, the way that she looked at her daughter, it was almost as if, she had gone beyond disregard of her daughter. It was more like, oh my God, disgust of her daughter's happiness and her daughter's gleefulness and her daughter's joy, and her daughter's energy was so attractive, right? And what it made me think about was one of the activities in my course My business is currently going through some transition, because you guys know that I am getting ready to give birth to my own baby girl. So this might be why I was so touched by this particular incident, because I just could never imagine like having my daughter with me. She's gonna be with me at Starbucks, like moving forward in the future often. And I could never imagine, like, number one, I don't want her holding my door. Number one, I think that is the first issue that I found with what was going on. Like, your daughter is, your daughter does not know how to be treated yet. She's new on the earth. And if you start her off in her best energy, where she is literally like, oh, let me hold the door for grumpy people, including my mom, what are we really teaching her, right? She doesn't know that at this point, you're supposed to be teaching her about her self-worth, about who she is, about her value. And that when a woman is like pouring from their essence in such a beautiful way that this little girl was doing, and being generous, that ought to be rewarded at the highest levels, not the lowest level. And as her mom, you're teaching her to basically, like, your work and the good things that you do, it doesn't mean anything. It's not even worth a thank you. And so for me, that is one of the biggest issues that I'm seeing in terms of the wounds with the sisterhood. And if you guys can identify with this, there are a lot of wounds that we have in our sisterhood, but it is up to us to do our inner work as grown women and to work on ourselves internally so that we are energetically as magnetic or even more magnetic than the beautiful girls that have just started. We should honestly be more magnetic because we've had more time on the earth, right? So women and people ought to be able to come to us and say hello, and they ought to be able to, receive something that's very beautiful from who we are as women. It ought to not be all of the struggle all of the time, right? Like, my thoughts were like, oh my God, I feel so bad for the little girl, because I don't even know if I'd be comfortable saying hey to her mom. Like, if I just saw her mom sitting, I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go the other way. Sis is having a bad day or whatever else. But what does that mean when the people in your home are receiving that negative energy? Because that is your first work. Your first work is not to your job, in my opinion, of course. It's not to your job. It's not to the men that you were dating. I didn't see a ring on her finger, so I don't think she was married. But it's not to it's not to men you're dating. So that's why I said that if she had a husband, it would be, he'd be in her home. But as women, I think, that energetic unattractiveness is not going to create the life that we want. And for a lot of us, this is about going inside of our souls and our hearts and taking off all of the emotional weight and baggage that has been put on us as we've been living on this earth. And so, like I said, we're revamping my courses right now. And so my Best You course has shifted. We renamed it in order to make sure that it aligned with like the different stages of growth in a woman's self-care and self-worth journey that I teach. So you guys know, level 1 is about the star. She's the one who's entering into her self-growth journey. It doesn't matter how old you are. Level 2 is the boss. She's the one who's moving into that independence and has learned how to stand on her own. She's working. She's learning her worth in that way. Level 3 is the money-making woman. She is the woman who is moving into interdependence, which, caveat with American women, a lot of us stay at our boss stage like way beyond the time that I think is helpful for us. Like, there's a point in your life where you have to learn how to work well with others, because life is not done alone. And so you want to know how to have great relationships and connect with people on a deeper level. And so my money-making women are in that stage. They're in that stage where they have great relationships. They are investing in others. They are learning about interdependence. They are really fully blooming into who they are as women, and maturing and having great relationships with women and men, right? It's not a one-way street. And then, of course, the 4th stage is that divine queen. And so my Best You course was really a course for women who are in that 1st to 2nd stage of their journey. And it is the course that gives you all of the inner work prompts and all of the inner work activities that I've done in order to get to where I am now, which is I'm solidly in my 3rd stage of my personal growth journey as a woman. And because we are adding new courses and changing up my university a bit, especially like because I'll be a mom now, so I'll be doing more for you guys on YouTube and stuff, and just online because it's easier. It's easier. We'll still do live events, but it'll be with my clients who have gone through my courses. We have adjusted the price. It's at a beautiful price for you ladies right now. I'm gonna link it to below, but it's still a lot of the same. It is still most of the same activities that were in the Best You course. So if you bought the Best You course, you still have this course and you have all the access to the updates there. But for those of you who are much more price conscious, and just my team and I were talking, and we were just like, the content in that course, it's about uncovering all of those things that has been put on you as a woman that have stopped you from growing and have stopped you from maturing, and maybe even now have you looking at your daughter like side eye or in disgust when she is in her like truly feminine form and just happy and light. And honestly, you have to kind of ask yourself like, oh, is there something that I'm missing about that? Do I long for that stage of my own life and my own journey, right? And if you do, go ahead, pick up that course. It's at a wonderful price right now. We are going to be adding new courses coming January 2023. There's some offerings. If you're on my email list, you guys have gotten some of the new offerings that will be recorded and be courses coming up and rolling out in 2023. But you guys will perform these courses with me live, so I'm excited about that. That's some of the stuff that we're doing in the fall. And of course, my fall one-on-ones are pretty full right now. But we are starting to go ahead and take a client list for one-on-ones starting in December and also in January. And so I just wanted to come on and tell you guys that, and just be mindful. We're working, all of us are a work in progress. I'm not judging the woman's soul. I don't know what she was going through. I know her soul is exactly where it's supposed to be right now, but I really just sent a prayer out for her and her daughter, because if I as a grown woman could read that interaction, I can only imagine what her daughter's gonna feel when she grows up. And I don't know if you guys have great relationships with your mom or not, but your mother, the mother wound is so serious. If you have a mother wound, comment below and tell the community how you've overcome it. But it's so serious, and I saw the forming of a mother wound there, and so I had to just say something. I had to come on and say something. But either way, you guys, enjoy and go ahead, pick up that course. If you need to get your inner work done, you need to begin investing in yourself. It's a very cost-effective way to do it right now. And I just look forward to seeing you guys on the other side of the courses. Email my team if you have any questions. The email address will be below as well. Enjoy, ladies. Bye-bye.